A jockey would be good for you.
Yeah.
NASCAR, not so much. Anything where you have to see over the dash, you're going to have to get phone books involved.
He gets one high in the air. Left field. This one's got a chance. And let's go on a cowhide. Joyride. Sound the horn. The RailCats clear the yard. Hello, RailCats fans, and welcome back to the 219 Cats podcast, brought to you by OnDeck Tees. Support the player, wear the gear. He's Chuck Plurick. I'm Kyle Savetich. And Chuck, happy Father's Day to you.
Happy Father's Day, buddy.
It was kind of disappointed, this was my year to shine. They put me on the front cover for the
Yep.
Father's Day promotion, and it decides to rain
Yeah.
and rain a
Were,
lot.
were you going to go?
I was probably gonna go. I mean, it was if we knew rain was in the forecast, so it was
Right.
more of a less of like, okay, if it's gonna rain, more than likely probably not gonna go.
Right.
And so we were on the verge of like, okay,
Hmm.
probably
You
not
had
with it
it
being rain.
planned. You had it planned to go if it
It
wasn't going
it was the plan was there to go because the only other day that I could have possibly gone to a game this week was Thursday, but I had to take Logan to swim class. So with it being a doubleheader or whatever, we'll get into the series obviously, but
to. Right.
I just want to say
Right.
happy birthday, or not happy birthday, happy
Happy
Father's
birthday.
Day. Well,
Yeah.
happy birthday to whoever
Yeah.
has a birthday today.
Right. Absolutely.
Happy Father's Day to all of the RailCats fathers, fans that are fathers, and future fathers, or whatever the case may be. Unfortunately, this year, it got rained out, but maybe they get it on the schedule again next year, and
I was looking forward to my hat, but I have this
uh,
one on.
yeah,
So
I
I'm glad.
the nice mesh hat. I like the hat.
Yeah. Well,
So maybe work out a
maybe it'll
deal.
just be an image forever. It'll just be something on the screen that you can touch.
Yeah, maybe, or maybe they'll just just kind of like was it the white elephant?
Right.
Regift it.
Surprise.
Surprise! Look at this! Look at this brand new hat we were supposed to give out last year, but
My dad was driving from Michigan City, and he was almost uh, to my house when I called him up and said, "Hey, game's canceled." He's like, "Oh man, I was trying to be early so I could get ahead." I said, "Well, there went that."
All right, well, Chuck, another week of 500 play,
Yep.
and so the first series against Chicago Dogs, we played 4 games. Lose
Right.
lose the first game and the second game, which was a doubleheader game. Yeah. So this is how the score ran down. On that Monday, we lost 5-4. Tuesday, we won 8-6. The first game of the doubleheader, we won 2-1, and then the second game lost 2-1 as well. Uh, that one it went in extra innings at the end, ended in the eighth inning, I believe.
Something like that.
So I guess that we were, I guess I asked the question beforehand. Hey, do you want to talk about the player movement or do you want to talk about the series? I guess we talk about the series. We got to talk about player movement in game two
Right.
at least. Game one, I believe I was closing that day, so I didn't really watch much of it. Do you have anything from game one that you're like, yeah, that something needs to be noted?
Not really. Not really. It's a good game.
Okay, game two. All right, so we talked about it on Sunday. You were given the information that Kate Herman and J.C. Flowers and Grant Cherry were being traded.
Right.
We didn't know who we were getting in return, and we ended up getting.
Well, what I was told was, and this is kind of a key bit of information, was that the guy that we were going to get was actually going to Milwaukee, and that we were going to get somebody from
Mhm.
Milwaukee, essentially for this person, which I can't remember the guy's name. Delabio. There
Yes.
we go. So that's the way I was told it was going down. And so we wind up sending the 3 players to them, but instead we get Delabio. Now, from what I've been told, Delabio didn't want to come here. He did not want to come to Gary. Now, why that is, I don't know. Apparently, he was kind of talked into coming here. You can tell by his play that it didn't seem like he really wanted to be here, or maybe he was just not, he was having an off couple of days, what have you. But then we trade him to Lake Country because the terms that he wanted was that he wanted to go to a Wisconsin team because that's where he lives. So that's where it was a mix up between Milwaukee and Lake Country, and we wind up getting a pitcher from Lake Country.
What I guess what I was getting into is in that second game. All right, I don't think this has ever happened. I don't even think this
This was
happened.
great. This second game was crazy.
I don't think this has ever happened in any form of professional baseball. I would say even amateur baseball at this point. That a team, one team trades three players to one team, and one person, then that team trades one person back, and all four of those players play in not the very next game necessarily, but the very next game against each other.
Right.
And I'm thinking to myself, and in the eyes of Delabio, I wouldn't have if he wanted to be here or didn't want to be here. I would have not thrown him in this series in general for the reasons I have. Okay, we'll take J.C. Flowers for example. Last Tuesday, you had a horrific start,
Right.
and then you get traded to away from a team to a team that needs pitching, and guess what? You're facing your old team in your old ballpark.
And you have a horrific start.
And you have a horrific start. This is the mental aspect of the game that I don't necessarily with Chicago's I understand it because you need pitching and you took the bottom two pitchers from our rotation that you needed for your rotation necessarily. I understand it. But it is a terrible situation to put those athletes into because okay, maybe beside Kate Herman, all right? Grant Cherry, he gave up the 4 runs, but 2 of them went to Flowers because he came in for Flowers. He gave it the 2 home runs. The other one you can debate was a home run or not. Okay, it may or may not have hit off the top of the wall. It may not have been home. That's beside the point. It's you're you you're just setting your team up for failure. This is what I saw from game 1 or game 2. The RailCats came out to play right off the bat. And it also helps that JC Flowers did not have a great start. It also they knew JC Flowers.
Oh,
Uh,
I'm going to disagree with you on this one.
oh,
In that game, we got a lot of walks.
what
That game all came down to Flowers walking a lot of people.
no.
It wasn't that we came to play.
Chuck,
We walked.
okay.
Hold on. We walked. We walked some more. We walked some more. We walked some more. They put somebody else in. We got a hit. We got another hit. There was a point in that game where we had, I believe, 8 runs and 4 hits.
Let me finish really quick, Chuck.
Okay.
I you saw a team that knew what kind of pitcher they were facing. They were able to take their walks, and they did. They were able to hit Grant Cherry.
But hold on. But you're going to say they took their walks. And I'll tell you what, Stevie Wonder could have took those walks. Those pitches were not close.
I understand that Helen Keller or Stevie Wonder or all the in between. They got that big lead and they took the foot off the gas.
I see. I don't think that's what I think they got that lead, and it was because it was given to them, and nothing else.
Given to them or not, Chuck. The approach flipped.
Hmm.
You started to see them. Cade came in and he made them look like idiots out there.
Oh, Cade came out. I mean, Cherry came out and did fairly well. He did okay. I would give him a fairly well on that one, and then Cade Herman came out and shut the door. And
But it was
killed it.
it's the swinging at pitches that shouldn't be swung at. It's taking the third strike, looking on the outside corner when they've been swinging at things that are going 5 feet right to the
I
right of
know.
that.
That's what I'm saying.
but
is
that's
that their approach to the game did not change from inning one to inning
but
nine.
it did.
No, it
They were
didn't.
swing. They
The
were.
difference was that they were just not swinging and somebody was throwing balls, and then they went out there and weren't swinging and somebody was throwing strikes. I
I'm just
mean, it
I'm Chuck. I'm just saying that this game. In this game, there was just so much to digest. Out of the entire series, this
was.
was the one to
Here's
kind of.
here's where I was kind of the three guys that got traded, specifically Herman, was very pissed.
Oh yeah.
They were upset that they got traded. And I get that, right? So they had kind of an axe to grind when they came out. And so I would pitch those three guys against the team that traded them and let them grind that axe and get it out of their system, right? But on our side, we had Delabio, who we put in the eighth inning, who I believe got one out and gave up or got the bases loaded, gave up a run, something like that. Something crazy. Um,
So this is what I have for you. He pitched 0 innings, gave up 1 hit, walked 3 batters, gave up 2 runs. Both were earned.
Okay.
There
So
you go.
so no outs, right? But here was something that was a little different than the previous regime. I feel as though Jeff did the right thing there. Okay. I believe it was right to put him out there. And he pulled the plug at the right time. That's not something that we're used to seeing. We're not used to seeing a manager go out there and pull the plug at the right time. Normally it's three batters too late or it's well, you put a guy on base, you're done, and you're like, wait, you didn't even give him a chance. This guy had the adequate amount of time, and it was in the right moment that yes, it could have cost you the game, but you yanked him out at the right time. You put somebody in there that shut it down.
I guess we the RailCats were not are not or were not in a position at that time to have to throw him out there. You still had plenty of people in the bullpen that could
Yeah,
shut the. I understand seeing what the guy can do. I fully understand that, but
that was the position they wanted to put him in. They wanted him in a position of right before the closer. This is the spot. This is the role that you want to be in.
I
And I believe it was dictated by him that this is the spot I want to be in.
and I am perfectly okay with that. I'm just saying I don't think it was in the RailCats' best decision to do that right then and there. I
I thought it was genius.
you say it's genius. I think that there's too much emotion in it. I think there was just way too emotion. It's just one of those that you're trying to wrap your head around of getting traded, and it's not like Delabio was doing bad with the dogs necessarily. He's
I think it's
actually.
fine. Something ERA. He's had some other problem where, from what I told, his fastball, obviously it's 94, 95, right? 96
Mhm.
even. His fastball is good when he can locate it, right? But his other pitches aren't hitting the strike zone. So his curveball, his changeup, all of that stuff isn't being thrown for strikes. He can't figure out how to throw it for strikes. So everybody that's sitting there playing against him is just waiting for the fastball. And they'll sit there and take the pitches till they get the fastball and they'll cram the heck out of it. And that's what's been happening with him.
And I guess at the end of the day, I when you boil it all down, I don't understand the Kate Herman move.
I I don't either, being that he was doing pretty good.
I
Uh,
understand that they haven't put him in positions in stressful situations.
right.
Normally, time they go in, they're typically losing.
Yeah. I
But he's
think there
been one of the better
was
bullpen arms, and to give him giving up 3 pitchers and getting a pitcher in return, and then a few days later, the pitcher's like, "Yeah, I see you guys. I'm gonna go somewhere else."
right.
Essentially, is what happened. So you're telling me you're gonna lose a very successful piece of your bullpen.
I'm not going to say very successful. I'm going to say yes, he was successful. But I think that what the Railcats saw here was we need two starters that we're going to wind up releasing. Okay. So we need to fill in that role of those two starters. I have an abundance of bullpen guys. So how about I package it together and try to get me a better bullpen guy, and then migrate one of those bullpen guys like a Dawson Lane to the starting rotation because you know what you're getting with the Dawson Lane. I think or a Frank Plezak, right? So I think that was kind of their mentality there was we have two guys in the bullpen right now that could be good starters. Let's rotate them down. Let's try to get a better bullpen guy and build off of that. And maybe it was one of those things to kind of bide some time to figure out who with Lake Country that you wanted to try to get your hands on in a trade. But what I was told was the guy. This is another interesting part of this. The guy that we traded for, he was starting, okay, for the Dockhounds. They went out in the third inning, the manager did, to yank him out and said, "Hey, it's nothing about your performance. We just traded you to Gary." In the middle of his outing.
Okay, I'm gonna take 2 steps back real quick. Okay, Cade Herman,
Okay,
18 innings pitched. He's only given up 3 runs.
right.
So telling me that he isn't a key piece or a good piece to the bullpen,
Oh, I didn't say I said he was good. I didn't say that he was a key. He's not a key piece. He was a good part of the
he
bull.
okay, he could have been a good piece to the bullpen.
Yes.
I that's the part I don't understand. Is if you have the potential to have a good piece, a key piece to the bullpen,
Typically, you keep him.
I understand the move between you get rid of J.C. Flowers and Grant Cherry. They weren't as successful as the rest of the starting pitchers are. I understand that. See what Frank Plezak or Dawson Lane can do. Understand that. But bringing a guy in that's on the fence of coming to Gary for a guy that's going to probably turn around and show you, hey, you guys have been doing pretty well right now. How would you like 3 scoreless innings and me strike you out 6 times? You want to feel that pain? Because I could show that to you. This is
Right.
exactly what he did.
Right. No, I know. I know. I
Se-
I I understand the trade. I understand, but is it necessarily something that I would put, I would put the thumbs up on? I don't know.
okay,
I don't know.
second thing.
Uh-huh.
Again, let's trade for a guy, right? Let's trade for a guy who is in the middle of a start.
Right.
So what is that going to tell you now? Is this guy's just like, I got traded halfway through my start. Now I got to go to Gary. So now this
Right.
guy's mentally going to have to wrap his head around that. And then I guarantee, since we had the rain out, I'm guessing Friday, he's going to pitch Friday and it's going to be like, hey, go
There's
out and see
even
what he
more
can
to
do.
it. There's even more to it is, you know, you look at Delabio, who went from a last place team, made a stop in the middle, and now he's on a first place team. And then you get a guy in the middle of a start on the first place team that's being dominant. And then it's, hey, you're going to Gary, who's currently in fourth place. Right there's another debacle that you have to mentally deal with, and unless you're one of those guys that's like, hey, my job is to go out there and do my job, do the best I can, and screw everything else. You're going to be stuck in your head for quite a while.
Yeah, I mean, it's just crazy. The crazy part of it is that we end up winning that game 2,
Right,
with only 9 hits,
right. And how many did they have?
15 hits.
Exactly, exactly.
I just
It was insane, right?
they
It
left
all came down to the walks.
they left 11 base runners.
Yep,
We left 4.
yep,
I just
yep.
it's just one of those that you just kind of scratch your head and you're like,
Yeah,
how?
yeah.
But I
Then you had who pitched the third game?
you had Peyton Long with his third career complete game,
Right.
which some can debate this. I think still in the stat column, it's a complete game. He's
Right.
had three with
17.
he's had 3 with the RailCats, 2 of which have been 7 inning games, and 1 has been a full 9 inning game. Nonetheless, he went out there on a doubleheader where you were probably going to assume that game 4 was going to be a bullpen day, or the second game, but game 4 was going to be the bullpen game.
Right.
So him going out there and pitching the full 7 and very and he did it in a way that didn't allow him to eat up a bunch of his pitch count. He didn't strike a lot of people out. He only had 4 strikeouts. He only walked out. He only walked out. He only walked 2, and he gave up 3 hits. So his pitch
Yeah.
count wasn't very high.
There's a lot of solid defense.
Yes, and yeah, I think the RailCats turned. I thought they had 2 double plays in this one, and there was one game where they turned like 2 or 3 double plays. I'm guessing I didn't write it fully down, but that's typically how it goes. Oh, it was the game 4. They turned 2 double plays that they lost. Um,
Yeah, this was good defense. Peyton knew what he was doing, threw some good pitches, got out of it. And hey, he's that's the reason why he's one of the studs of the three, right?
yeah.
Um, so we go 2-2 against Chicago,
Yes.
the worst place team. Um, and I would even say that realistically could have gone either way the other two games.
Yes.
So, we were pretty evenly matched with Chicago is what I would come away with.
And I guess this is the point I was trying to make with the Chicago series that I saw. We do just enough to win a game.
Right.
We're not gonna blow people out. We're gonna get leads, and we're just gonna stay.
Right.
And whatever our offense does, they're gonna turn around and they're gonna look at the pitching staff and say, "Hey, you
You got
got this,
this.
right? I'm not doing anything else. We
Nope,
got the
not
lead.
doing anything else. You got
You
this.
got this, right?" So that's just, but that's how the year has felt, right? I
Ab-
I feel like we should be or could be at the top of the division, but we just do enough, and then we get to ourselves like in that game 2, we get into scramble mode where it's like, oh no, are we going to be able to get this back? And like sometimes you get it back, and sometimes you end up losing the lead. And I think that's where we've fallen in a handful of the games. It just never it hasn't been one of those full domination we've had dominant games, but we haven't had full domination games.
But yeah, there hasn't been a single game where it's been like, we got this. Even when we have a solid 6-run inning in the first, I'm still sitting there saying, okay, let's keep playing the game, guys. It's baseball, you know. That's yeah. Yeah, Chicago was tough.
Fargo, we win the first game 6-3, and then on Saturday we lose 5-4. I was unfortunate unable to watch either one of those games. So Chuck, go ahead and tell me about them.
Well, the first game, Olivero, I believe, um, did
Yes.
a fantastic job. Um, it came down to uh, the bullpen, and Coates shut it down again. And that was a great one to watch. The second game, you started Plesac, which I kind of knew you were going to wind up losing that game. Because Plesac is great for one inning, maybe 2 innings, but typically he looks like every time I've seen him out there, he's a one inning guy where he can go out there and shut it down 1, 2, 3. But then all of a sudden, it's like these guys see something and now they start clubbing the ball in the second inning, and that's what happened in this case. So hey, they figured it out. They were able to get ahead. They were able to score the runs, and it really felt like for us just really couldn't get anything going. But the interesting thing for both of these games was we deactivated a Frank Podcool, put him on the injured
Mm-hmm.
list, and we activated a Chris Jacobs.
Yes.
And so this was I talked to some people. They gave me some feedback on his hitting. Um, when you're sitting there and you're watching the game, I see something that maybe somebody else doesn't see. They see something maybe I don't see, right? When Chris Jacobs hits the ball, you can hear the power of that ball on the smack, on the crack of the bat.
Hmm.
You can hear the power, right? The problem was the first game, he just wasn't getting good contact on the ball. He was hitting it hard, but I can almost guarantee that if that ball, when wherever it landed, because it was typically foul, that thing was spinning like a son of a gun, because he had cut underneath it so flipping hard, and it still sounded like a home run ball, and yet it was a simple foul. But then when there was a couple of times where he got a hit. The second game, I believe he got one. The first game, I can't remember. I think he went over on the first game. The second game, he got a hit, which he rifled it next to the first baseman, and it was a pretty hard hit. So that was interesting to watch. Interesting to see the guy who is your batting coach go out there and kind of show you what he can do. But I can tell you, if he would have barreled one of those balls, that thing would have been screaming for life.
Hmm.
There would have been no question of it. I mean, his swing was just nothing but power.
Yeah, I mean, and you got to think of it. He's not saying that he hasn't seen live pitching or hasn't hit,
Right.
but he hasn't seen game time.
Not since spring training.
Yeah, it's a whole different.
Yeah.
Even spring training, like, yeah, you're just out there for the hell of it to have fun.
Right. And you're probably in spring training. You're not necessarily going up against the guys that are the top notch guys. You're going up against these guys who are trying to figure out what they're doing. So, but then the other thing is we got another guy who I was told his name's Nick, I believe. He came in, he played first base that first game. And then, Jacobs played first base the second game. But that first game, when it came down to, um, hey, this is the end of the game. We need to make sure that we can get it done. They put Swazi in there. They
Yeah,
took the guy out. They put Swazi in. They also took out Summerhill and put Cooper Edwards in. Um, so that like Jeff realizes these are your defensive guys.
yes,
These are the guys that aren't making mistakes. Um, the Nick guy, um, two throws from the pitcher. I believe they were both from the pitcher. Um, can't get in front of him, winds up crossing with the runner, misses the ball. Runner stays on base, I think, on first both times, but bad throws from pitcher or bad plays from the first baseman. I think they only gave us one error on those, but there was two of those plays. And then Chris Jacobs, I believe, uh, or no, I take that back. One of those plays for Nick was a bounce ball that went right between his legs and flew up and hit off the wall right in front of me. So that I believe they counted that as the error, and then two of those reach out missed balls. And then Chris Jacobs I think he did the same thing. He had a ball that was thrown to him that by the pitcher, and it just wasn't a good throw and missed that one. So you're seeing a little bit of that rust. Um, only so much you can do. You can't work miracles, but you're seeing some of that rust from these guys and hopefully it gets a little bit better.
I think you're not Nick. It's Mark Flores.
Mark, sorry,
Yes,
Mark, that's what I meant. Nick, Mark,
you have a
or
Nick Podkole.
not who I was referring to.
I figured as much as, but I just wanted to verify it.
Yeah,
Here, just real quick, the player activations and all that other stuff that kind of happened throughout since what our last since the grant. Well, the first it would be the Delabio for Cherry Flowers Herdman, and then we activated Cooper Weiss from the injured list. We released Scout Knotts. Still, we released him. Still got his name. Don't have to worry about it now, I guess. We bring back Jonathan Martinez.
right.
Glad to see him back. He's a nice piece. That's gonna be a nice piece for us. Then we signed Mark Flores. Flores, I believe is how you pronounce it. He had a big game on the was it uh game
This
one of the doubleheader, or is it
oh
game three against
no, it
Chicago?
was.
I'm trying
I
to.
thought
Oh
I
no no
thought
no no no! It was game one against the Redhawks, where he went 3 for 5 with 2 RBIs. They kind of helped like propel the RailCats to end up winning the game, kind of the insurance
yeah
run.
yeah
Then we trade Delabio for Dominic Kansas Cancelleri. Yes,
something like
yes. Then we signed Chris Jacobs, put uh, Frank Podcool on the 7-day injured reserve list. So
right.
that's all the movements that are going on there.
Yeah, we I didn't look to see. We had picked
Oh,
up.
also, my bad. For the Labio trade, there is also another player to be named later. So it's a two-player deal sort of situation for the
Right, right.
RailCats. So, anyways, sorry to.
Yeah. No, we have an AJ that plays the infield, I guess, that we picked up recently.
Yes, AJ
Um,
Arico. Yep, picked him up
we
last
had
week.
Chaz. Chaz pitched yesterday, I believe. And you know, I think he did okay. Uh, so some of these guys, Martinez went out there yesterday too. Um, some of these guys that though they're newer, Martinez not necessarily newer, but new to the roster, they're definitely getting some playing time.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that while we're at 500, Jeff is trying to see what parts we have available and what parts need to be worked on. That's exactly what I think you do in this case.
Yeah, it's looking like he's taking the pitching approach is what he's trying to work on, not so much
Yeah,
the hitting as
I don't think
aspect.
that, you're not going to out hit Lake Country. You're not going to out
Yeah,
hit,
no.
you know, and so what's your best route to win? I'll tell you what. You give me a Peyton Long, an Olivero, and even Matt. You give me those three, and we're winning at least two out of those three games. You know,
Yeah, I mean that's the point. I mean that would be something that you're looking at later in the year.
yeah,
Maybe it's one of those as bad as it may seem to a certain extent, you may be trading off pieces of your bullpen
yep,
to other teams that aren't going to make the postseason to get their bats.
right.
And so that way when you're in a
That's what that's what I was thinking is, you got to kind of make you got you find these other two starters that are going to be solid starters. Um, and you hope that you get somebody that's as good as a Peyton. You try to solidify those first four, I think. Um, and then you look at what else you have in the bullpen, and then you say, okay, those are my strengths. Maybe I can get rid of one or two of those pieces to somebody else, and in exchange, get me that left fielder that can hit the ball, that has the speed, that has the defense, but somebody like that. Uh, and you run with it. You try to solidify some of those positions that currently have, kind of a rather large question mark on them.
you know
And what'd you think of the releasing of Scout Knotts? You know,
I mean it's not a major hindrance.
I think the writing was on the wall, right?
I
I mean,
I think the only thing it did was it put you in a situation of Nick Podkul goes down and now you have to sign your hitting coach to hit because you don't have enough of offensive pieces.
well, Frank Podcool, not Nick Podcool.
No, Nick Podkul.
Nick Podcool?
Yes, Nick Podkul.
Thought it was Frank that got
Nope.
put on the injured list.
Let's see here. Oh, it was. Oh, my bad. I thought it was. Okay, I misread that. I thought it was Nick. I read somewhere it said Nick. So okay,
No,
Frank, it was again.
Frank is the guy that they're going to flip flop on the injured list, I believe.
Okay,
Um, I
my
think
bad.
that's what they're going to do with him. And I think in this case, they bumped Jacobs up because he previously played for Fargo. So I think this was an opportunity for him to have some fun.
Well, I mean, I guess when you're hovering around 500, you can have a little fun,
Right.
which is
Weird to say.
weird. Yeah, very weird to say. I mean, I this is three full weeks we've been at 500 baseball.
And you got these like all of a sudden Kane County's nosediving. So and we face them next,
Yeah.
right?
So let's run through this really quick. So starting Tuesday, 3 game series against Kane County in Kane County, and then Friday, Saturday, Sunday we make our way up to Lake Country to play the Dockhounds, which I think will be interesting, to say the least, on that
Right.
portion of it. So how everything's broken down right now at the moment in the East
Well, hold
Division.
on. So we go Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday at Kane County.
Yes,
Then Friday, Saturday, Sunday at Lake Country.
yes,
Then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, who do we face?
Kane County.
Right. And then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we're at it again. So these guys do not get a break at all for the next how many days?
Yeah, because it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. They play a 4 game series against King County, and then it's Lake Country. They don't get a break until July 6th, which is that Monday, where, get this, we face Lincoln, and then we
We
go to
Lincoln.
Lincoln
Right.
for a 4 game series.
Right. And
I,
and so really, if you think about it, uh the rain out today was a bit of a blessing because we would have continued on. We just had 4 games against Chicago. We just had, one of them was a rained out game that
mhm.
got the doubleheader, right? But 4 games against Chicago, 3 games against Fargo. Then you're going to do, uh, a 1 day break, and then you're like right back at it. So this getting today and tomorrow off is a big deal.
So, as it stands, Chuck, right now, East Division, Lake Country's leading division 21-11, half game above Milwaukee, who has one. This is the surprising part. How well Milwaukee's done lately.
Right.
They are one. If they would have won 1 game, they'd be first in division with everything that Lake Country's done.
Right.
It's just crazy to think. Then you have Kane County, who's sitting at 17-14. RailCats sitting at 16-16. Cleveland sitting at 14-19, and then Chicago sitting at 13-19. The RailCats right now are 5 games behind Lake Country.
Right.
This could be, if you decided, you know what, let's get hot right now. If you got hot, you're jumping Kane County easily, and you're looking at giving Milwaukee and the Dockhounds a run for their money.
Yeah.
If you get hot. But at this
Right.
point, we're playing 500 baseball, and that's just going to be enough to scrape us in. Hopefully, with uh, Cleburne being 5 games below 500.
Right. Right.
Looking at the West real quick, it goes.
Well, let's look at that the flip side though. Let's say now's the time you get cold.
Yes, if
Very
you get cold, you're going to get
bottom of that
buried
pile.
very, very far, very quickly.
Exactly.
The West Division, Kansas City still leads. Sioux Falls, Fargo, Winnipeg, Sioux City, Lincoln. Uh, that is how everything. So it's going to be an interesting lead up to the All Star break because I mean that's just right around the corner.
Yeah.
I mean
Yeah.
we're about a monthish away from it, but it's still right there, and it's just crazy how fast the season just kind of goes. Boop, we're already there, like
Exactly.
already a third of the way of the season and do it basic. Not essentially just yet, but pretty close. 30% of the season, I should say.
There you go.
So 32%. If you want to do the math. So yeah, that's all that I have for anything. Do you have anything before the final out?
I think that we have a final out, and then maybe we have an extra inning because I got a couple of things that I need to air some grievances.
Okay, do you want to air the grievances before or after the final out?
Let's air the first grievance, and then my second grievance will be my final out.
Okay, let's
How's
air.
that?
Let's air out the grievances.
So my first grievance is, sometimes we say a lot of stuff on this podcast, right? And I wish that Gary would listen to it. I do. Like I hear that they hear it or whatever. Some of them listen to it or whatever, but I really wish that they would like listen to it because we faced um Sioux City, and sure enough, they're having specialty dishes for each team that comes in and making comments about them and all of that stuff, right? And I'm like, that's something we should be doing. That kind of originated here.
And Chuck, who is the only team in the association that follows the podcast?
Exactly. Exactly. Right? So then brings me to my next complaint. And this is my final out. All right.
Okay,
Go ahead. Do your thing.
final out brought to you by OnDeck Tees, support the player, wear the gear. Chuck, what is your final out?
My final out is this. We recently had two teams that played that I believe it was the Frontier League that decided to honor the Negro League Hall of Fame and have both of their jerseys be Negro League jerseys, which was my idea. And they ran with it.
Well, Chuck, here's another thing. Who are the two teams in the Frontier League that are doing this game? Well, at least one of them.
One of them was the Mud Hens, or the not Mud Hens, the Mud Monsters.
And who happened it has the same ownership.
Yes, I know.
And I'm not saying that they follow. I think there's a Tribune that does follow the podcast. I'm saying he listens to it. I'm just saying there's a lot of things that are adding up here
Right,
that are not going our way. And
right,
people are starting to and see, Chuck, here's the issue. Every time you come up with this brilliant idea, you say, have at it, take it, it's your idea,
right.
not mine. So
Right,
you may have to start. We may have to have like a collection of Chuck's thoughts on like
right,
games, and
right.
then we need to timestamp them.
But we got to do something because I'm okay with, when I'm directing these ideas to somebody, I'm typically directing it to RailCats people. Okay, not RailCats people to, hey, make a suggestion to somebody with the Mud Monsters and have them do it. Not, or I think they were they facing Evansville? I don't even
Yeah, I think it was Evansville.
um, or something to that effect. No, then I want credit for it. All right, if it's going to be another team that's not Gary, I want credit for it, even if it's in small print. It says Chuck's idea. That's fine. I'll go with that. Right, but yeah, we got to do something. I got to start copywriting these ideas so that people stop stealing them.
Okay. Well, Chuck, my final out isn't necessarily a final out; it's more of a final question for you, a hypothetical.
All right,
So at work the other day, someone came up to me and said, "Hey, Kyle, I'll get
hold
they
on. Did they say hey Kyle because they saw your name tag, or did they say hey Kyle because they knew you?
no, it was a coworker. Okay,
Oh, okay. All right.
this was a very vague question, and I had to ask the scenario behind it because it doesn't make a lot of sense necessarily. But anyways, it was given to me. It said an average person, just take an average Joe Schmo,
All right.
would they be able to hit? Who would be able to hit a golf ball 300 yards or hit off a major league pitcher? Just a hit.
Right.
Which one would be easier to do?
Okay.
So I'm gonna give it. You have X amount of years, and you have X amount of pitches
Right.
to do it. Right. Let me
Right.
just tell you really quick. 3 to 4% of the population of the whole world can hit a ball 300 yards.
Right.
Right. So which one do you think is easier?
Um, that's a good question because you're talking the whole population. You talking just males or males and females?
It's
You
just,
know, I would say, me personally, I think it would be my drives are about 275 um on a good day, 260.
and it's carry.
Right. But I believe that I
Or,
could,
no, I mean not carry from uh ball flight. It's not like
right.
where it hits and then goes.
No, no.
Golf terms are not good for me. Okay, I don't know
Yeah,
nothing about golf.
mine, 275, 260, somewhere in between there on a drive. Um, do I think I could hit the ball? Hitting the ball and getting a hit are two different things. Um, I could definitely hit the ball off of a major league pitcher. Would I be able to get a hit is a different story.
It's just getting hit. It doesn't have to be. If you're at the plate and you hit the ball and it dribbles in front of you and it stays between the foul lines, it's a hit.
I'd be able to do the hit.
That's what I said, and everyone's like, "Oh, you're crazy." I'm like, "Well, no. I mean, I watched baseball enough to know that
Right.
you can do it. Unlimited amount of situation. The luck of it is higher in baseball than it would be
Yes.
because all you sometimes you can just close your eyes and swing and make a hit. So
Right. No, if you were trying to increase those odds, um, I would say if you have somebody that's really, if you're helped by a professional when it comes to golfing, they can get you to tweak your hips in such a way and get that extra drive. Maybe it's a better golf club. Maybe it's a hitting it better, on the golf club, something to that effect to get you to that 300. I think you can be helped with that. I think it would take a lot more effort for somebody to help you hit a baseball off of an MLB guy. I don't think that I think that more people would be inclined to be able to do it, but I don't think that you have that ability to improve very much that percentage
no,
when
it's
it
just
comes.
about seeing pitches. I mean, and I said, okay, we'll even make it even better for baseball's sake. Even if you took a Aroldis Chapman, right,
Right.
who's throwing 105, 110 miles, and he's throwing nothing but fastballs, eventually you're gonna time it up and at least make contact with it.
Yeah.
But
I just took the bat out and bunt it.
that would be classified as a hit. You're not wrong.
Yeah.
It would be we'll make it swinging. Okay, that's be swinging. It can't be
I can swing and bunt the
swing,
ball.
but yeah, that'll work. Probably what's gonna
Just
happen.
stick it out, go, boom,
And then
done.
we had the conversation of which sport's harder, and the guy's like, "Oh, golf by far." I'm like, "You're crazy. It's baseball. What do you mean to
Did you
be
did you see the video that Fargo put out there where they're asking the players, if you were an athlete, what sport would you play?
probably all of us like golf?"
The first thing Sermo said was, "Are you saying I'm not an athlete?" Like all of them were like, um, if I was an athlete, I am an athlete.
No, you're just a
Few
baseball player.
ball, some of them said pickleball and basketball and whatever, but yeah,
The
if
correct
you were,
verbiage would it
you
be
were-
it
what
would
sport?
it would have been if you weren't a baseball athlete, what athlete would you have been?
That's not. They said it that way on purpose.
I
So,
I
so the question is, Kyle, if you were an athlete, what sport would you play?
my luck would probably be in baseball. You know
Oh,
what?
if you
Or
sorry, if you were athletic, what sport would you play?
would
That's
would
what
would
you were
uh
athletic.
would horse jockey work?
You could. You know what? You are short. You'd have to lose some pounds, but I think, man, you could be a jockey.
Yeah, I don't know how much athletic ability that would take, but actually, I would be a NASCAR driver.
Okay, so the poll out to the listeners. How many telephone books would you have to sit on the seat for Kyle
Chuck,
to be
Chuck,
a NASCAR
look
driver?
look up the average height of a NASCAR driver, and I would fit in that
I just
range.
I need you to be able to see over the dash, man.
Have you ever seen a NASCAR,
Yes,
a car like up and close and personal?
yes.
You know how low that thing sits to the ground.
That's yes,
Chuck,
but the sits close to the ground
I
too.
drive on a normal day basis.
You drive a truck which has a seat,
I
and you have a booster seat on that
I
seat,
do
so you
not have a booster
over
seat.
the.
I do not have a booster seat.
Oh, okay, okay. Let's let the people, the listeners, let's let them vote on whether they think you have a booster seat or not.
Oh, it's funny. Let's pick on the short guy.
See, I'm just saying, a jockey would be good for you.
Yeah.
NASCAR, not so much. Anything where you have to see over the dash, you're gonna have to get phone books involved.
Let's see. Average
Height of a NASCAR driver.
height of a. If I could spell. Let's see
Which height?
here. I guess 5'10", 5 feet 10 inches.
5'10". That's right.
But so Kyle Larson, Tyler Reddick, Todd Gilliland. Well, more of Kyle Larson and Tyler Reddick are more of the top two. All right, they are 5 feet and 5 feet and 6 inches. I am 5 foot and 6 inches. All right,
Okay,
the
hold
shortest
on. You got
person.
this one because Danica
Yeah,
Patrick.
exactly. That's where I
So
was
you would
going.
be right there with Danica Patrick. All right, at five
I'm
foot two.
4 inches
That's
taller
right.
than her.
You would be right there with Danica Patrick. That's good. That's good that's what she no longer races because she couldn't handle it. So I don't know that. I mean, if you want to be, I guess we could have clarified a successful safe driver versus a non-successful.
Kyle Larson or Tyler Reddick, the top two in the league. Not necessarily, but yes. Uh, while larger athletes can adapt to stock car, the tight cockpits are generally more accommodating to smaller drivers. So bite me,
With
Chuck.
books. I got it right here. It says with phone
No,
book
it doesn't. It says furthermore,
with
because
phone book
of
edition.
the weight, the center of gravity, and are crucial in motorsport setups. Shorter and lighter frames have historically been viewed as a slight aerodynamic and weight advantage. Okay, so the shorter the better.
Okay. Okay. All right. I'll let you run with that.
Yeah. What would you be, Chuck?
If I was athletic,
Yeah.
I haven't thought about it because there's no chance of me ever being athletic. Oh, I always thought you know, like what would be your ideal job? Like what's a job that you would like to have?
What I'm
That you
doing right now.
talking here?
Yes.
Yeah.
About
Okay.
sports.
Yeah. For me, it's I really enjoy making shirts, you know. Unfortunately, we're not they don't pay for hobbies. Yeah. So, but hey, you know, if you were talented, what would you do with your life? I would have a podcast.
Have a podcast because sure as shit knows I can't write on a piece of paper pass a test. For those that
which
know that know.
which yes, Kyle here, we're doing a fundraiser for him, a GoFundMe account, to get him through this job to his next. And so as of today, if you buy the Ryan Vibes shirt, I will give you a code of vibes, and you will get 50% off the Ryan Vibes shirt, and that money will go directly to Kyle to help him fund his next adventure, his next professional adventure in this world.
I hate you with a burning passion.
Why?
I didn't lose a job. I just
I didn't say that you lost a job. I said to help you go from this one to the next.
well, that's gonna wrap it up for this week's edition of the RailCats Talk Pod. See, I did it. You had me flustered. Now I have to edit this
I
out.
did. Hey, let me throw this out there. This was another thing. This would be like the seventh extra inning. We should have named this podcast the Rail Talk Podcast.
So you want me to try to stop saying
No,
RailCats talk?
no,
No, no, no,
no.
no, no. And you want me to go with Rail Talk? You know how many times I would actually screw that up?
The reason why I'm saying that is I actually watched a video called the Rail Talk Podcast, or Rail Talk is what they call it, right? And it's actually Cleburne's thing with their guy, uh, Brad, interviewing the players. They call it Rail Talk. So that was kind of cool. I was like, oh, we were so close.
No, I don't like the name. If I'm being honest, I don't like the name.
Well, Rail Talk would have been pretty cool, I think.
Rail Talk.
Rail Talk.
Rail Talk.
Yeah.
That definitely sounds like a Texas thing.
Yeah. Here we are,
Anyways,
Rail Talk.
that's gonna wrap up for the 219 Cats podcast. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, rest of your
Rail
evening.
Talk.
Whenever you watch this, go
Go
Cats.
Cats. Yeah.
The 0-2. Swing and a miss, strike three. Wrap this one up in green and white.